Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome if you are rejoining. My name is Marissa Price. I am a social worker, healer, business educator, specifically dedicated to ending the stigma around mental health as it pertains to Black women. But yeah, I'll give everyone a second to join. But this is kind of an impromptu live, just talking about mental health, right? Mental health is an issue that's very real for a lot of us as we are seeing circumstances, right, worsen, especially if you are in the US, if you are in the West, living through really what appears to be a deterioration, right, and the impacts that that has on our mental health, on our everyday lives, as we struggle to just have our basic needs met. That shouldn't be a struggle. And how does this impact our mental health, right? And that's one of the reasons why it's so important to end the stigma, because of the issues that we see that are caused by these systemic, deep-rooted injustices that we're really surviving day to day, right? And what impact does that have on things like anxiety and depression, the ability to breathe, right? We know that breath work is essential in being able to control, sit with difficult emotions, know that you will be able to get through them, right? But what happens when you live in a society where you can't breathe? The stress is so real. And it's growing even more intense, right? As we see the conditions around us get even worse. So yeah, this is just an impromptu discussion on mental health. Hey, the educator, welcome, welcome. Yeah, Black women's mental health, right? We know that still in 2024, unfortunately, there's a huge stigma around discussing mental health, admitting that you are living with mental health issues, whether that be anxiety, depression, if you experience things like suicidal ideation. There's a huge stigma around these things. And so hopefully on this platform, I am working to end that stigma, because it really helps when we are able to talk with each other, share our experiences, and realize that we're not alone. Because a lot of these issues, unfortunately, we're all struggling with in these systems. Hey, Alicia. Yes, yes. I'm excited to meet up with Alicia tomorrow. Simon DC. But yes, yeah, just the everyday toll that these systems take on our mental health is very real. And so the more of us who can talk about it, yeah, I'm house sitting at the moment, and this husky, woo, this husky is testing me. But yes, if y'all hear whining in the background, that is Loki. Hi. But yeah, right, living in these systems day to day, it's nearly impossible to not have, right, to not struggle with some of these things. And so it's important to take into account that you're not alone. You're not alone. And a lot of these issues are caused by what we're forced to live in. It feels like if you can't have your basic needs met, right, which should not be a struggle in an ideal society, what level of anxiety is that going to create just naturally? Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited too. Yes. Yeah. So some of the reasons I wrote as we get into this discussion for tonight, right, ending the stigma around Black women's mental health, why it's important that we share our stories and just be transparent about how difficult it is to live in the society day to day and maintain your sanity, because it is. The first thing, it helps to eliminate shame, right? So there was this wonderful quote on Instagram that I saw, like, is that 5 years ago at this point? It was a while ago. But it is impossible to shame a woman who is unashamed. So the more that we are able to share what we're going through transparently, openly, it eliminates that shame that would be there about experiencing mental health issues, right? And another thing on the list, it helps us see that we're not alone, because sharing our stories is very powerful. As we share our stories, other people feel comfortable and open enough to share their stories. And then we see where the dots connect. And we realize we're not alone, right? Especially in talking about things like toxic jobs. This is an issue that a lot of us have just lived through and not talked about, really, until now, right? Until like platforms like Dr. Kamani's channel, Lifting as We Climb Consulting, where she just talks about this openly. And all of a sudden, it doesn't feel so shameful to walk around with people talking to you sideways at jobs, educational institutions, and you kind of internalizing that as something that is wrong with you, the reason that they treated you that way. But when you see everyone else sharing their story, it seems like we have common threads through all of our stories, unfortunately. You realize that it's not you. It's not you. This is a pattern of behavior that is directed towards Black women in workplaces and educational institutions. And so you can kind of disintegrate that shame that would have existed inside of you, maybe that you have been carrying around. The more of us who share our stories makes us realize we're not alone. We're not alone. And we're able to kind of zoom out and see the greater injustices that are occurring, right? Being mistreated, being harmed constantly over and over, in really every place that we enter. Doing our best, trying our best, right? Putting in all our effort. We know the phenomenon from pet to threat is so real. It's so real. Putting in all of your talents, all of your skills into something, overperforming, pushing yourself past the point of exhaustion to gain approval, right? In the aim of gaining approval, and it never comes. So we're just all in this hamster wheel, right? Trying to achieve this thing that never comes as a mirage. Hey, Danny, welcome, welcome. Yes, good to see you here. Yeah. So yeah, that's why it's so important, right? Part of the reason, like for the title, why I share my story openly, so that more of us can see that this is happening to so many of us. Unfortunately, there are common threads throughout our stories. It's okay. It's okay. Common threads throughout our stories, right? That show up over and over again. And we see the pattern of behavior that exists as Black women in this society. Another reason, it helps with self-gaslighting, right? It helps to combat those feelings of thinking that you're making something up, thinking that you're making too big of a deal about something that happened to you, thinking that what somebody said, maybe they really didn't mean it. But when you hear other Black women, right, specifically, share that someone said something similar to them, and another Black woman someone says something similar to them, you're like, okay, maybe I'm not making this up. Maybe these are words specifically used to target Black women in the workplace or wherever, right? So this is a systematic pattern of behavior. And as we are able to share our stories, we're able to identify it and see points of resistance. Yeah, it's real. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Seriously, your channel has inspired so many of us to share openly what we've been through, right? And not feel like we have to keep it inside. Because we know that pressure builds up the more that you are like living with these experiences day to day and not feeling like you have an outlet, not feeling like you have the power to be able to share it openly, still living with that shame that keeps a lot of us keeping the secret, right, of what we've experienced. No, because it's never yours to carry. The blame was never yours. The blame was never yours. And the more of us who are open, who share our stories openly, and not saying that everyone is at that point and there's absolutely no pressure to share if you're not, but those of us who are, creates other opportunities for other people to feel comfortable sharing their stories. And it creates kind of like a right? An effect where now we can see the threads. Now the things that we have been holding as secrets and having so much shame around it, now we can see it out in the open, right? Because one of the tactics of abusers, right, of an oppressive system is secrecy. It really is. So the more of us who can disintegrate that, like, I'm not keeping this a secret, who does that benefit? Who does that benefit, right? If I'm ashamed to say that I live with anxiety, I struggle with depression from time to time. Who does that benefit if I'm not able to say that openly? Yeah, so that's real. Another reason, it attracts your people. It attracts your people when you share your story openly. Your people are drawn to you. Your people are drawn to you. And it kind of creates a community, right? If you can't find a community, because we know that's very difficult, especially now, online can really be trash. It really can be. But the more of us who are in communities like this, creating safe spaces specifically for us to heal, share our stories, and really blocking anyone who tries to get in the way of that quickly, I think it creates opportunities for us to feel safe enough, to share. Yeah, who does it benefit? Who? That's real. That's real. Something I've been sitting with, asking myself. When I feel like I can't share something, when if something feels so heavy that I'm like, let me just keep this inside, who is that benefiting? Certainly not me, because I'm walking around with this and it's like weighing me down, right? And the more of us who are like, no, I'm tired, right? This is the truth. Yeah, it's powerful. Yeah, the educator, some women do not even understand what their jobs are doing. So yeah, that's true. That's true. And by design, right? By design. They don't want us to understand what our jobs are doing to us. They don't. They want us to believe that that is the normal thing that we should expect. Until we're 65, right? And I've talked about this before. A lot of my family members have not lived to 65, not even anywhere near close. Like 30s, 20s. So that's something that we have to take into account, right? When we're sold this lie of just make it to 65. Well, I'm looking around me. A lot of the people who I love passed away so much before that, right? And that's real when we talk about like life expectancy and the role that racial trauma has played in death rates, premature death rates. But yet we're told we just have to endure this until 65, being mistreated, being harmed. Day after day, racial weathering is very real on our bodies and can lead to things like anxiety and depression, because these are rooted in real experiences, right? Going along with self-gaslighting. These are rooted in real things. Being afraid, right? The fear response. The fear response that our bodies have to something that it may feel like an overreaction, or other people may label it that. But there was a time, right, previously in our lives where that was rooted in something real. It was really survival. It was really life or death. And it's a point of unlearning and relearning that I don't have to react in that way, right? And I was just talking with Angela Kanu. We are planning another workshop about emotional regulation, self-regulation. But it's so true. It's so true. You have the ability to step in when you feel those trauma responses kicking in. The more that you are aware of them, you don't have to go down a pathway of staying rather in fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Once you notice that you're in that, you can pull yourself out. You have the agency. A lot of us are not taught that we have the agency to do that. And so we just continue to be really stuck in these trauma responses that are not serving us. Yeah. Yes, the educator says, telling our stories can help others self-identify. Yeah. And understand what they have internalized as normal is not normal. I'm glad you ladies have learned at a young age to heal and create your own normal. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I agree. Telling our stories can help others self-identify. Understand what they have internalized as normal is not normal. That's so true. That's so true. What's been taught to us as normal is not really normal, right? We were not put here to suffer. But that's the narrative that is pushed so often that we just have to endure that day to day until never really tell us until what. I'm assuming retirement in the context of a job. But again, a lot of us don't make it to retirement age, and we have to be real about that. Even being in financial education for a portion of my career, right? Telling people, trying to educate people about saving for retirement. Again, I'm looking around, I'm like, a lot of the people in my family did not make it to that age, anywhere near it. So the concept of saving for retirement feels so, what's the point? What's the point? So that's real. Yeah. What's been normalized is not normal. I'm glad you ladies have learned at a young age to heal and create your own normal. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah. Danny says, thank you, and Alicia. Yeah, for creating safe space to release and heal. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. You have been crucial, right, in my healing too. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Sending never ending healing energy emotionally and physically to all. Thank you. Yes. Received, received. And yes, sending it back to you. Yeah. Sending it back to you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, another reason, right? Ending the stigma around Black women's mental health. We're human. We're human. To humanize myself, I share my story. Right? Growing up in mostly all white environments my entire life, really felt the effects of being dehumanized on the daily. Right? And so when I share my story, when I say, yeah, I struggle with mental health, right? That humanizes myself to me. That reflects back to me that I am human. And that is key in a society that continues to dehumanize us day after day in every way imaginable. It is an act of resistance when you say, no, I am human. I am struggling with these things because I feel things, because I have emotions. No, I'm not a robot. Yes, what these things like people say to me and what I experience on the daily, they do affect me. And they lead to these symptoms because I am human. Because I am human. We are human. And it sounds simple, right? It's like, yeah, of course we're human, but living in this day to day where you're constantly being dehumanized. And we know that intersectionality is huge, right? Being dehumanized because of anti Blackness, being dehumanized because of misogyny, sexism. And the list goes on and on. Ableism, fat phobia, colorism, texturism, featureism, ageism. It's never ending. So the more that you can reflect back to yourself, no, I am human. These things do affect me. That's powerful. Because now you're resisting all those messages that are telling you you're not human and you shouldn't feel any type of way because you don't even have feelings. Rejected. Danny says, I accept and receive. Thank you, Marissa. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Received. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Another reason, right? Place the blame where it needs to be placed. Place the blame on the people who caused the issue and don't internalize it as something that you did, something that you didn't do, right? We can go down an endless rabbit hole thinking about what we should have done, what we should have said, right? Catastrophizing is real, something I still struggle with. But yeah, it's important to place the blame where it needs to be placed. And I think that is really key in being able to remove that shame that some of us may feel around mental health, experiencing anxiety, depression, other mental health conditions. What are the roots to that? What are the roots? Right? It's important to recognize that. And if blame needs to be placed on someone else, put it there. I feel like we're kind of conditioned to be resistant towards that. That we need to take on blame for what other people did. Who does that benefit, right? That's a question that I keep asking myself. Who does that benefit? If I am taught to always see my role, my part, and not saying that I'm perfect at all, but it's like the people who caused the issue, that is their blame to carry. That is their blame to carry. And also, shame requires secrecy to survive. That is a download that I received over a year ago, right as I was writing. But shame requires secrecy to survive. It really does. So the more that we can, again, share openly, eliminate the stigma, the shame disintegrates and you are free. You're free. And it's so scary to get to that point. So I never want to act like it's not. It's terrifying sometimes still, right? I have shared openly my journey on YouTube of being in a toxic job, healing from the aftermath, still in the process of healing. Kind of just turn my camera on. I'm like, okay, here we are on YouTube. Here we are. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but after you do it, you feel a release because that shame is no longer there. That shame is no longer there. Because that shame can keep us really hurt and stuck, feeling stuck. And the more that you're able to kind of release your grip on that, realize that it's not yours to carry. The person who harmed you was wrong, right? And you dealing with a mental health condition, a lot of us are dealing with these. It's not just you, right? Removing that fear of isolation, that really, really real feeling of feeling like you're isolated and no one can understand what you're going through. And a lot of the times in experiencing depression, things like these are exacerbated, feelings like these, because depression often makes us withdraw into ourselves. So the feeling that we had before of being isolated only gets even worse because now we're really not reaching out to anyone. So yeah, there's power. There's power in sharing with safe people, because not everyone's safe. Unfortunately, some people, and I know this from experience, right, have weaponized it. The information that you share with them, even therapists, right? And I'm a huge proponent of therapy. Therapy actually helped me exit a toxic job, realize that I was in a toxic job, and exit. But I've had therapists who are not kind, who are not kind people. And what effect does that have on people when there's already a stigma around seeking mental health support? And now you're in supposed to be a trusted environment and you're experiencing these things. And unfortunately, this happens, right? Because especially being in, I don't know where I want to take this, but being in graduate school, in social work, seeing other people training to be clinical social workers, therapists, and seeing what types of people they were going into the field, understanding why a lot of people have these experiences in therapy. It's real. Because graduate school training does not teach you how to be a good person. At the end of the day, it doesn't. If you don't have that going into the field, you are probably going to harm people being in the role that you're in, right? So it's important to do your research, ask questions when you do enter a therapy relationship, and then if it's not working, know that you have the agency to leave, no matter what they say. No matter how many sessions in you are, right? You have the ability to leave and seek a new therapist who's not harming you. A therapeutic relationship should not be one that's harming you, ever. Mm-hmm. Weaponizing vulnerability. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's real. Yeah. Educator says there is strength in numbers. Together we are strong. A word. A word. I agree. I agree. Yep. Together we are strong, which is why there's so many efforts to divide us, right? To divide us, to make it seem like our struggles are not intertwined, interconnected. These dogs are a lot. But yeah, it's true. It's true. Together we are strong. Yeah. Yeah. Voice of Reason, hello. Welcome. And thank you. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Danny says, Amen. Social work is not for everybody. It's not. It's not. And that gives me some ideas of future video topics, right? Being ooh, graduate school. Graduate school, for those of you who took any type of social work training, right? It doesn't have to be graduate school, but like social work has deep issues, right? Even when you talk about how social work was started. And having the opportunity to work with Indigenous communities and hear their stories about social workers and the trauma that exists, right? And now there's a new generation of social workers, Black, Indigenous, Latinx social workers, really trying to change the narrative of what social work is. Because social work is thousands of years old, right? It was just kind of labeled, put the label on it. But advocating for your community, taking care of your community, securing resources, teaching people, educating people, sharing knowledge, thousands of years old. And we see a new generation like pushing back on a lot of the ways in which social work has traumatized Black and Brown Indigenous communities. Yeah, having the opportunity to work with, like I said, Indigenous communities where social workers had literally taken children, pretty much stolen children from their homes. And now a new generation of social workers are trying to change the narrative around that to actually help their communities. It's real. Yeah. Blessings all. Good night. Oh, good night, Danny. Thank you for being here. Yeah, social work is a calling, not just a job. Yeah. Thank you, Marissa, for bringing light. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you for showing us what social work should be, Danny. Thank you. Yes, the educator says, yes, I kicked several therapists to the curb. They just didn't understand. One even asked what I could have done. To cause the treatment I received. Mm-hmm. That is infuriating. That's infuriating. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that that happened to you. Yeah. That goes against, again, pretty much everything that we're taught, right? But it unfortunately doesn't surprise me seeing the people who, first of all, teach the professors in social work, right? Not everyone, but a lot of professors are horrible. They're really horrible. And these are the people who are training people who are going out into the field, supposed to help people in such vulnerable positions, right? People seeking help. I'm sorry, that, what I could have done. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's like a movement with Black social workers, clinical social workers, especially like pushing back against things like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and seeing how much gaslighting takes place in that. And I can speak from experience having gone through CBT therapy, right, as a client. I felt like the therapist was gaslighting me so often, right? And in an attempt to try to help me reframe stuff, look at things in a different light. But the effect was I felt my experiences being completely invalidated. Yeah. So that is true. That is very real. And I'm sorry. Voice of Reason says, I'm so glad, relieved, and somehow consoled hearing that there are good social workers out here, especially with my experience with the very issue you mentioned pertaining to children. Yeah. But not acknowledging your agency to think and speak for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. That's real. That's real, right? In advocating for therapy, because we know that therapy has a lot of benefits, right? You're able to talk with someone like a neutral third party. And if that person is a good person, first of all, and if they're good at their job, it can do wonders, right? Speaking from experience, having someone reflect back to you the areas and the things that you're going through so you don't internalize them as something is wrong with you. That is huge in the healing process. And also at the same time, holding space for the truth that a lot of us have been harmed in therapeutic relationships, right? In the way that we even, that therapy is taught, the therapists are trained with these theories that are very limited, right? That are very Eurocentric. And if they're not, they're stealing a lot of elements that are thousands of years old, not crediting them when we talk about indigenous ways of healing. And so they're doing it wrong and they're teaching incorrectly because you can't teach something correctly that you stole. That's not how that works. So that's very real. That's very real. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to work with Black social workers, Indigenous social workers, really changing the game, right? Pushing back on things we were taught that didn't align, that were completely irrelevant. And this is one of the top social work schools in the country. And being subjected to mistreatment in class as we are paying these exorbitant amounts of tuition and fees and actually paying for practicum hours, which is the hours that kind of like internship hours that you have to complete to receive your degree, being harmed in that process, right? By things professors say. I had a professor quote a eugenicist. Not in 2020s. Quoting the eugenicist, like for real. While I'm supposed to be at one of the top social work schools in the country. And actually learning the most from my Black and Indigenous peers. That's really where I learned the most things from, right? It's a lot of thoughts. Yeah, voice of reason, a lot of gaslighting for sure, and misusing it and incorporating traces of harmful stereotypes and white supremacy. Yeah. 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 Misusing it, that part. Yep. You're misquoting, right? You're taking something that you have no understanding of and diluting it and using it for your own benefit to push forward your own twisted message of things. Incorporating traces of harmful stereotypes and white supremacy. Absolutely. Yeah. 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 So not only do you steal it, right, and claim it as your own, you're not even getting it right. You're not even getting it anywhere near right. And then you're teaching that to other people who are going in the field with a code of ethics. When we talk about the NASW, right, with a code of ethics to serve your community. And you are harming people. And I have a lot of thoughts. That might be a separate video. The code of ethics that we're instructed to follow, right? When we graduate. And then we're in these organizations that don't allow us to follow this code of ethics. Stressful. Yeah. Hey. Yes, I came at the right time. Unpaid internships. Danny. Yep. Unpaid internships. Yep. I think I did, was that 500 hours? I think I did 500 hours of unpaid labor under the guise of it being practicum hours, right? As part of graduating from my graduate program in social work. Yeah. And it really wasn't even like unpaid because I've been thinking about this. I paid for them because you have to pay for the credit hours. So you're actually paying to work for free. Tell me how that makes sense. You're paying to work for free while being subjected to all the things that we're subjected to in these environments. Hostility, blatant disregard for the communities that we are there to serve. And don't say anything about it, because now you're going to be targeted. They're setting us up. They're setting us up. Yeah. 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 They're really setting us up to fail and be harmed. And then again, going back to the topic of the video, and then we internalize that as something to be ashamed about. When everyone around us has been harming us left and right, what is the natural consequences of that? You're going to be harmed. You're going to have mental health consequences from these things so often. Yeah. Oh, CEO. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Unpaid internship equals stolen labor. Okay. Yes. Stolen labor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they grade you. Why am I being graded on free? Isn't it enough that I gave you my free labor? Now I got to be graded. Now I can potentially fail. I could potentially fail after having given free labor. Yes, yes. Happy Thursday. We brings about. We do. We do. We really do. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we bring a level of humanity to the field, to our placements, organizations we're a part of. Yeah, we really do. We bring so much value. Empathy, right? And unfortunately, all these things are not valued in this society. It's true, though. Yeah. Hey, the darknet. Yeah. What a scam. A scam. Yeah. Essentially paying for practicum hours to graduate from a social work program, right? We know the NASW that's supposed to at least maybe protect us. I don't know. Serve as a barrier in between students and these organizations that we're going into. What do they do? What do they do? Because we're constantly being sent out in these environments, being harmed left and right, left and right. And especially if you're a clinical social worker, right, having to complete CEUs still through NASW while they're while they're doing what? While they're doing what? Hey, Erin, yes. Speak on it. Did it for librarianship. Now they really get us with these free labor things, don't they? That they put different labels on them. Internship, practicum, externship. They put different labels on it, but it's the same thing. It's free labor. Yeah. Thank you, Erin, for sharing that. Yeah. Teatime Beauty Yikes, offer a piece of paper to confirm we are worth entering the workforce. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's so real. to confirm we are worth entering the workforce. So we're set up to seek that, again, external validation, right? Having someone else rubber stamp our skills and abilities, meanwhile being harmed in the process of getting there, right? Having, again, mental health consequences from being in these environments. And we have the piece of paper, still being underpaid. And then we get the degree. It's like, hold on, now you need another degree. Hold on, I just got this degree, but you need another one though. You're still not good enough. So it's a constant, like, the bar just keeps getting raised. Yeah. It's a setup. Mm-hmm. Why am I being graded on free labor? Why? Volunteering. Being graded on volunteering. Mm-mm. Y'all should be lucky for anything that I contribute for free. Are you kidding me? Yeah. But it's the power and control, right? The control to still, you're not being paid, but I still have the ability to kind of affect your future because I have the power to fail you still. And if you are taught to seek validation externally, and these systems are set up so that we have to, if we want to be within the system and pursue that pathway, that we have to get their stamp, we have to get their approval, that we're doing a good job from people who never valued us often, don't really see us as full people, do not hold space for emotions. Getting back to the topic of the video, why it's important for you to hold space for your own emotions. Because so many other people don't. They don't. Yeah. I mean, if we just share like our experiences in college, like a university setting, right? Having a professor tell me that I couldn't retake a final, right? So I had to come in right after my great grandma's funeral to take a final. As if I couldn't take that at another time, but it's about the control. It's always about the control. And so I'm glad to see other people out here like completely rejecting that. Like, no, I'm not participating in that. That's inhuman. That's inhuman. There's no space for grieving, right? We know that death is a natural part of life. There's no space for that because they just want us to be robots all the time. And it's deeply, deeply troubling. I don't even think that's a word, but yeah. Yeah. Dark Knight says a plantation never left. Never. They're just put in offices. Mm-hmm. They're just put in offices now. Yep. That's real. Mm-hmm. Aaron says no because we're in competition with each other doing free labor. Oh no. That's true. Oh, make that make sense. We're in competition with each other doing free labor. Aaron, thank you. The fact that we're competing for unpaid internships, which we're paying for these internships with like the credit hours we have to pay for, we're still competing. We're still told we have to compete with each other. Who can give the most free labor? Oh my gosh. That's disturbing. That is disturbing. Yeah. Make it make sense. Ooh. In offices too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-mm. be free? On my watch. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's a loop. It is. It is a loop until you're ready to get off. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Educator says, I ended up with 3 pieces of paper my grandmother told me I didn't need. We were born with mother wit, and our grandparents knew what fields we would be good in. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's powerful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, educator. It is. The manipulation is wild. It is. Starting from such a young age, telling us that this is the only pathway. That this is the only pathway. I didn't know another pathway existed. It's like go through the system, right? Go to, even in high school, it was never presented to me. Other options in college or the military or a trade school. That was it. That was it. Yeah, it's real. For a system that wasn't made for us, of course, our mental is going to be way off and we suffer. Yeah. Thank you, Erin. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Of course, our mental is going to be way off when we suffer. Getting to the topic of the video, right? Ending the stigma. The more that we share what we're going through, we realize we're in oppressive systems that are creating a lot of these conditions that we are struggling with day to day. And it's not just us, right? An issue, or one of the issues I have with labeling, diagnosing, understanding that it is helpful for some people to have that diagnosis, to receive treatment, but also it individualizes a collective trauma. If I can label you as just having anxiety and not really taking into account the systems that you're living in, right? Seeing other people who are going through the same things, it kind of takes the gaze off of what's really happening around us if we can individualize an issue. And I don't like that. But again, also understanding that diagnoses can be helpful at the same time. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, same after my grandma died, told me to stay on campus for my grades. I had a 3.5. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hmm. That's evil. That really is evil. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so sorry. And see, I'll just like go back to one of my points, right? When we share our stories, we realize that other people have similar stories and we're not alone. Because I cannot tell you how much shame I held around this, right? Realizing that it was nothing that I did, right? My great grandma had passed away and I went through this. But the way that my teacher had regarded me and looked at me as if I was just, what is wrong with you? I had internalized that as something being wrong with me. And so I was holding it as a secret, not sharing it with anyone. But as I have been able to share, right? And I think this is not a plug at all, but I think this is in my book, right? Cocoon. The more truth I share, the more truth will be revealed to me. And that's really how it works. The more you share, the more you remember, and the more is downloaded to you. And realizing like how much shame I carried around that. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Hmm. Pain to be stressed, sleep deprived, anxious, and fearful. That's true. All of it. All of it. Yeah. Pain. Like pain. Thousands of dollars I don't have. Let's not get into student debt, y'all, because thousands of dollars I don't have, right? Taking out loans at 18. Entire mortgages at 18. To be stressed, sleep deprived, anxious, and fearful. They didn't tell us that on orientation day. This is what you're signing up for. That wasn't in the promissory note that we signed at 18. Yeah. S. Taylor, hello. Yes. Has anyone got a job offer and you experience anxiety instead of being happy because you've been traumatized from working these jobs? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a very real experience. Yeah. 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 Because your body remembers. Your body remembers what it was like to be in these jobs, right? And so our body tends to respond when something feels familiar. It's like our body tends to respond in a familiar fashion. So that's real. That's real. Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of us have probably experienced that too. Yeah. Yeah. The past few jobs, this has been my experience. Yeah. No, you're not alone. Not at all. Not at all. No. No. Nisha says, Aaron, I'm so sorry. I had a similar experience. You should not have had to experience this. The last thing you needed was to be on campus. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. And thank y'all for sharing because literally, again, it can feel so isolating. It can feel so isolating. And when you do ask for grace, a basic level of grace and compassion in navigating someone passing away, it's not there. It's not there. And it's kind of confusing at the same time, too. It's like, why is it not there? Although I know. Where is the humanity? And do you want kids to suffer, right? Because I've been thinking about that too. Are we being led into these environments on purpose to curtail our progress in life? I don't know. Tea Time Beauty. Oh, yeah. I've been studying intersectionality. Kimberly Crenshaw describe how race, class, gender, and other individual characteristics intersect with one another and overlap. Yeah. Yeah, that term is huge. Yes, Kimberly Crenshaw. Yes. Intersectionality. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's pivotal to be able to understand like where you exist at the intersections and understand like how the systems of oppression are working together in tandem to keep you quiet. Another reason why sharing our stories about mental health, right, ending the stigma, you're resisting oppression because you're like, I'm not keeping quiet about this. No. You resist that. You resist that. Yeah. Evil. Yeah. Yeah. Plus, it was an HBCU evil. Yeah. Hmm. I'm sorry. Yeah. Do I want to? Yeah. I was going to say something, but I don't think I want to go into that territory. But yeah, it's like the foundations of a lot of these institutions are the same. the same, like the money that was used to start, fund, continue to fund, where's the monetary support coming from? Who is it coming from? And that kind of tells you how it operates. The standards by which they operate, if you can call it that. Standards. Yeah. Yeah. You deserve better. You did. Absolutely. Danny, thank you so much. I love Cocoon. It was a lifeline for me and still is. I send copies to my girlfriends when they're going through a tough time. Oh my God. Ooh, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah. Dark Knight said, this is partly why I feel I'm going to drop out of college soon. Yeah, now that I know how the game goes, I see what's really going on behind the veil. Now that I'm making, investments, I'm skipping so much nonsense. Yeah. 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 It truly is. It's a setup. It's a setup. Yeah. I understand that feeling. I do. Because I do question, would I go to college again? Knowing what I know now, the trauma that ensued, right? Being in an educational institution such as the one that I was at, which was trash. Would I do it again? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Do what's best for you. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. 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 Okay, y'all. Yes. Kind of got off topic, but here we are. This has been amazing. Let me see if I have anything else. Oh yeah, resources. One of the reasons why it's important to end the stigma, share our stories, as we are healing, as we feel comfortable sharing our stories around mental health. One of the reasons, again, humanize ourselves to ourselves. No one else has to do that for us because we know that's not reliable. So you don't get that power anymore. I'm humanizing myself by admitting to myself that I am struggling with mental health and the reasons why. There's nothing wrong with me, right? It's a natural response often to these systems that I'm living in day to day that continue to harm me, which means I'm human because I feel the effects of these. So that's one. Resources. So as we eliminate the stigma, we can share resources more openly. And I do have therapy resources linked in the description section. But that's huge, sharing what worked for us, right? I know a few people have shared that they went through EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing, I believe, which is a type of therapy for trauma survivors that I went through. But yeah, it's important for us to be able to share what we've been through with each other, share resources, right? Talk about therapy, be real about it, honestly. That it's not all roses sometimes with therapists, depending on which therapist you have. And it's important to interview your therapist and know that you have agency to leave if it's harming you. Therapy should not harm you. I want to continue to emphasize that. I don't think we're told that enough. Therapy should not harm you. If you leave therapy and you're feeling like heavier than when you went in, if you're feeling like someone doesn't understand you, if someone is being rude to you, please leave. Please exit that relationship because that is not what therapy is meant to be. How are you supposed to heal in a place where you are being harmed? Again, even in a therapeutic setting. No, no. So, yeah, it's important to, as you are seeking out therapy resources, if you are struggling with mental health issues, which I know a lot of us are, right? And again, as these conditions around us worsen, these things will get even worse a lot, right? These conditions that we're experiencing just by living in this world and seeing suffering, right? Again, we are human beings, and these things that we're seeing have an effect on us mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Reject the notion that you are a robot and you should not be affected by anything that happens around you. It's okay to feel. Yeah. Yeah, again, it helps with self-gaslighting, right? Just going back to that point, a lot of us will get in the cycle of thinking that we made something up, thinking that somebody said something they didn't really mean it, and we're just making a big deal out of it. But we know how disrespect feels, which is why it's important to tap into our bodies. We know how it feels. You're not making it up. And the more of us who share our stories around how it's impacting us, right? Mentally, the more of us can see that no, it's not us. And the gaslighting kind of dissipates when you see other people sharing what they've been through. Because now you realize, hold on, this thing that I thought that I made up, I was making too big of a deal out of it. This person is openly saying that it affected them deeply. So now I have permission. Like, you can give yourself permission, of course, but it helps when other people kind of reflect that back to you. Yeah. Yo, I'm just going down to the end. Y'all are, oh my gosh. Not with my all-time favorite guest. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Danny. Y'all are cracking me up. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Danny says eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Yes. Therapists are human too. There's a lot of, Danny, come on now. There's a lot of ego in the field, just like any other. That sentence alone could be a whole video. The ego in social work. The ego in social work. Especially, can I say, when so many people think that they are doing good, right? When you touch on that, when you tell them, but you're actually causing harm, be prepared for the vitriol that's about to be directed at you. That is real. That is so real. Yeah. Do not challenge, because a lot, oh my gosh, the thoughts are flooding in. But yeah, when you call that into question, as it should be, because a lot of people are out here harming, no matter what your mission statement is, you are harming people. And so when you call that to task, right, when you call that out, people will just melt into a puddle sometimes. Like, no, you are harming people. And the ego with that, right? Not being able to accept valid criticism, especially not from Black social workers. We know a lot of the people in leadership positions in social work are white women. So again, we go back to the dynamic that is kind of ingrained in US society, right? The dynamic that existed on plantation systems. Now I have a Black woman telling me that I need to do something differently or I caused harm. When I'm the leader and I've convinced myself that I can do no wrong, be prepared for the blowback. It's so real. It's so real. Ooh. Hey, Sandra. Hey, welcome. Welcome. That part, yep. There's a lot of ego in the field. Mm. Mm-mm. There is. There really is. Yeah. Danny says there are people going to teach us, coach us, mentor us. Look out for our well-being as we go along our journey. I'm praying we all cross paths with those angels. Yeah. Yeah. That's so real. Yeah. And I would love to be a mentor, just if there are any younger social workers, Black women social workers out there. I would love to be a mentor, share what I have been through, coach. So please reach out to me. Hold up. Let me put my. Send me an email. Yes. Because that's very important to me. To mentor, to coach, because it's like, it's lacking. It is lacking. And I'll say, even when we do find, I'll speak for myself, even when I did find a Black woman social worker, she was not on the same value system that I was on. So she was not able to mentor me in any way, shape, or form. So it's so pivotal that someone also matches your value system and how you even regard community. Because a lot of people just throw that word around. And we see a lot of people in this field, like for their own advantages, right? How can I benefit? How can I prop myself up and completely forget about the people I'm serving or not even have any interest in what they're going through? As long as I have my title in my check, I'm good. Like, unfortunately, I've seen that so often. And it's really disturbing to me. It's really disturbing to me. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Sandra. Please don't get me started on the insensitivity of white women in public school. I can only imagine. What you see, I can only imagine. I saw things that just made me want to scream, and then I wanted to fight. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Yep. Coach Marissa. Oh, thank you. Coach Marissa the mentor. I appreciate that. But yeah, seriously, like send me an email, hello@mpricemsw.com if you are interested in mentorship. If you are a Black woman, social worker, entering the field, still in graduate school, still in school, period, doesn't have to be graduate. Yes, I would love to chat with you. Okay, y'all. As we're wrapping up, let me make sure on my notes. Okay, the last point. So many of us are going through this. So many of us are going through mental health struggles, whether it's anxiety, depression, any other mental health issues, right? OCD. There's a really great article actually I came across. OCD in Black women, right? The pressure to be perfect, how deeply it has been ingrained in so many of us from such a young age, and how that creates symptoms of OCD. So that was very interesting to me, for me to read. I'll try to find that article. But yeah. And again, understanding diagnoses can be very helpful. And also holding space for the fact that a lot of the symptoms show up because of the pressures that we have in the society that we live in. If we didn't have the pressure to constantly be perfect, would we have these symptoms that align with a diagnosis of OCD? It's holding space for both. Yeah. Okay, y'all. As I am wrapping up, I want to thank y'all, first of all, so much for being here, sharing everything that you shared in the chat. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. It takes a lot of healing, awareness, and community support, and we can do it. Agreed. Yes. Thank y'all for being my community. Seriously, for sharing everything in the chat, for being here. And yeah, again, therapy resources are linked in the description section. If you do want to take advantage of those, taking into account it's important to interview your therapist as well, because a lot of us have been harmed in therapeutic situations, and realize that you have the agency to choose a different therapist if they are harming you. Please do not be harmed, right? Please remove yourself. Please believe that you have the ability to remove yourself from a therapeutic relationship if you are being harmed. You don't have to stay in it because someone has letters behind their name. I know letters can be intimidating. I understand the power that they hold. But yeah, you don't feel that you have to stay in that if you're being harmed. You can exit. There are so many therapists out there, right? Again, resources linked in the description section, for you to take advantage of. There's community healing spaces like this to share our stories. YouTube has been pivotal. I think I have to say that. YouTube has kind of been like community healing, as I have been able to listen, observe people's stories. Alicia's channel, huge, just huge. And being able to see someone speak so openly about mental health, right? It has been life-changing. So yes, YouTube, props to YouTube. And yeah, just as y'all continue to create resources, because I know so many of us in the chat are creating resources for healing, for sharing in safe spaces, in community, building communities that are safe, because we know that that is rare, very rare still, especially on the internet. The internet is wild. The internet is wild. But I'm glad that this space can feel safe to share. And I take that responsibility very seriously. Yeah, y'all. Appreciate y'all. You're good. Hey, Dr. Kamani. Yeah. Wonderful to see you here. That reminds me, I almost forgot. I'm co-hosting a summit with Dr. Kamani, the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women, May 18th and 19th. So I think I do have the link to sign up for the wait list here somewhere. Yes, get on the wait list, y'all. Early registration opens April 4th, but you can get on the wait list here to be notified when tickets are released. Alicia will be speaking at the summit. Yes, Stephanie Perry will be a speaker, Dr. Roche, Kamisha L. Jones, who runs Sista Afaya in Chicago, which is a mental health community-based agency, will be a speaker talking about the mental health impacts of toxic jobs. Dr. Robin will be speaking about sleep and how to heal from insomnia, because we know that insomnia is a huge issue that affects a lot of us in toxic jobs. Yeah, Anne-Marie Archer will be talking about how to negotiate a severance package from a toxic job. So the first day of the summit, it's a 2-day summit, May 18th and 19th. The first day is really focused on healing, realizing what you're in, right? Stephanie will be kicking it off with Job Detox, talking about that with her new book coming out. And Kira as well. Kira will be talking about signs of burnout. I met Kira in Guadalajara. But yeah, she sold her house, moved to Guadalajara, got like I think she's a contractor now, working just a few months to make a salary for a whole year. So she really only works a few months out of the year. So she'll be speaking as well. Yeah, let me make sure I don't. Libria Jones will be doing a pre-recorded session on finding remote work. Patrice Lindo will be talking about how to turn your side hustle into a full-time career, which I'm excited about. And yeah, in April will be our MC, April Thatch, who has been on Dr. Kamani's channel too. She will be our MC. So yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. Oh, did I see the educator? Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Sending virtual flowers. Happy birthday. Yes. I'm going to relax and have fun, as you should. As you should. Happy birthday. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yes. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Thank you. I so appreciate that. I so appreciate that. Thank you to all the healers. Seriously. Seriously. And you are a healer as well. Thank you. Thank you. This community is really the spot. It really is. It really is. Yes. Thank you. I feel peace here. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's always my goal and my intention when I enter into these. You know, the anxiety be kicking me sometimes. So I'm like, let me go forward. So hearing that and reading that is really, it really hits. It really means a lot. So thank you. Oh yeah. I'm so grateful. You're welcome. Of course. Of course. Yeah. And it's true. It's true. Me too. I'm just thankful no trolls came on this channel. Thank the universe. I'm very thankful. Yeah. Yeah. Because I've had to block a few. Few people. I tell you, I'm serious about this being a safe space. Like, no. Yay. Yes, I'm excited. Yeah, the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women coming up May 18th and 19th. With some amazing speakers, including Alicia. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, y'all. So again, get on the wait list. 401 tickets open April 4th for early registration. Yes. Oh, you're welcome. And yeah, thank you. Looking forward to watching the replay. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Happy birthday. Yes. Yes. Of course. Of course. The educator, thank you for being such a beautiful part of this community. Seriously. For supporting, for showing up, and just want to give you your flowers. I'm like, happy birthday. We're excited. We're excited. Yes. Yes. Sandra says, yes, this is the summit. Y'all have all the greats. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I am excited. Yep. And we're slowly kind of dripping out our speakers as we build the platform that the summit will be hosted on. But yeah, look out for the announcements. I think we've announced officially Dr. Roche, Stephanie Perry so far, but we'll be dripping out like the social media announcements. And please share with your audiences as well so we can get the word out. Yeah. Yes. Libby regarding replacing income resume writing with gaps in employment. Yes. No trolls. No trolls. Now don't let a troll come on here while I'm about to end. That would just be like, yeah. Once you get a troll, you know you're doing something right. Okay. Okay. That's helpful. That's helpful. Yeah. Oh, no. No. You're good. Thank you for being here. Like I said, oh yeah, that was a pre-recorded interview that we did. But yeah, this feels free, full circle, right? Watching Dr. Kamani's channel really made me realize that I was in a toxic job and that I wasn't alone. Again, going back to the theme of this video, this live, realizing you're not alone and other people sharing their stories is so powerful, and being able to eliminate that shame that exists when you do feel isolated. Like, no, the more of us share our stories, it's like, this is fortunately so common, right? And it's nothing you're doing. This is indicative of the systems that we live in that are constantly harming us at every turn. So thank you. Listen, my Black game has got really good. Yeah. Thank you for protecting your heart in this space. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. See, self-promotion is hard for me, y'all. Self-promotion is so hard. Dr. Kamani and I will be speaking as well. I knew I was missing someone. It was me and Dr. Kamani. Yes. We will be speaking at a session. How to build your business using the skill set that you already have, how to create an online business using skill set that I have, right, with Free Black Woman Virtual Solutions, helping Black women start and build online businesses. And then Dr. Kamani has just created an entire business using her skill set as a licensed clinical psychologist. So we'll be talking about that as well during our session during the summit, the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women, coming up May 18th and 19th. So I'm excited about that. And thank you for the reminder. Thank you. Okay, y'all. It has been an hour and a half already, somehow. But here we are. Thursday night, I'll be taking a couple weeks off because I'm tired. These dogs have worn me all the way out. I'm on my first house sit in DC. Yes, house sitting, beautiful, adorable, but energy draining dogs. Two big dogs, a German Shepherd and a Husky. I just jumped right in true me fashion. So yeah, this is where we are, and I'm tired. So I'll be taking a couple weeks off to rest before I come back in April. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here. Yeah, thank you. It's always a joy to share space with my tribe. And same here. And same here, Sandra. The feeling's mutual. Yeah. Yeah. I love that you're going to be resting. Yes. Yes. Dogs are cute. Dogs are cute, but whew, they'll wear you out. They'll wear you out. I think I take them on 5 or 6 walks a day. So definitely should have like trained prior to this house sit. But yeah, we're getting through it. We're getting through it, counting down the days. But yeah, I'm gonna take the next 2 weeks off to rest from YouTube. Probably, actually, I will be doing interviews on other people's channels. So I'll be sharing those on my community tab as well. But yeah, until then, y'all, listen. Stressed. Mm-hmm. I am. I am. Yep. 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 I feel like I have 2 babies at this point, and they're staring at me. Yes. 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. Just 5 or 6 walks. That's it. 30 to 45 minutes each. That's it. So when I say that I should have trained for this, like I'm not lying. I really should have. This has been a lot. This has been a lot. Yeah. Yep. Oh, thank you, the educator. Good night. See you in April. You will be missed. Oh, y'all really getting to my heart today. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Go ahead and get that rest. We appreciate you as always. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. Appreciate you. Everything you do too. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 You're in good company in DC though. Everybody got a docket. Yeah. I have seen that. I have seen that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like huge dogs in small apartments too. I'm like, okay. That's why they got so much energy. They don't have anywhere to run around. So I got to take them on 5 or 6 walks a day. I'm like, oh my God. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, y'all. Yeah, as we're wrapping up, just wanted to end with in the stigma, right? The more of us share, we're ending the stigma that has existed, honestly, for centuries. Because we were not viewed as human, we were not regarded as having human emotions to be able to even experience things like mental illness, mental health conditions, anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, all of these things. So you're ending the stigma, you're rehumanizing yourself to yourself, despite all the messages around you that continue to dehumanize you. When you say openly, if you are ready, right, there's no pressure to do so. But yeah, I struggle with mental health. Yeah. So sharing your story openly, realizing that you do not have to take on shame. And if you have, you can always remove it. It's not permanently affixed to you. Shame is not permanently affixed to you. You have the power to disintegrate that. Reclaiming your power and saying, this shame isn't mine. I reject it. I reject it. Ending that stigma. The more of us who can be real about what we're experiencing, right? We don't have to keep this inside. Sharing resources, sharing strategies, healing strategies that have worked for us, things that haven't worked for us. Therapy routes we've taken that have done really good things, therapists we've liked. It opens up so many new worlds for us to be able to share with each other and heal with the information that we share. So, hey, Mara. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you here. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That part. Yeah. Poodles. Mm, yeah. I've already had an experience walking them in I guess it was an exclusive apartment building, like yard. But yeah, he threatened to have me arrested already. I'm like, okay, welcome back to the US. Welcome back to the US. Um, so there's that. There's that. Things that you have to like prepare for, right? And put the armor back on when you enter into this country that's like hostile towards you at all angles. So yeah, yeah. So that happened, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. For going in the in apartment yard, I'm like, sir, you don't even own this building. And the fact that you base your power and control off a place that you don't own, that's sad. That's sad. Yeah. 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 So there's that. Okay, that was kind of a low note to end this on. But yes, ending the stigma. Like I said, encountering these aggressive situations day after day. What impact does that have on our mental health? And having to suppress that, the natural motion would be to, I don't know, tell somebody off, right? Um, but yeah, the conditions, right? The restrictions were very restricted in the way that the society is set up, in how we can express our emotions. And what impact does that have if you don't have a space to share that with people who get it? It's real. It's real. And those unexpressed emotions can lead to mental health conditions, right? Symptoms that are labeled as mental health diagnoses. So, yeah. Those Karens and Kens take their job seriously. They love policing Black bodies. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. That is true. That is true. Yeah. Hmm. But they tell us to move on. But okay, that's another lie. That's another lie. Yes. Telling us to move on from the past Yet a lot of folks still holding on to some behaviors of their predecessors that they continue to perpetuate and cause harm with. But we have agency. We have agency. Yeah. Yeah, y'all. So yes, know that if you're struggling with mental health, you're not alone. Nothing's wrong with you. You're not flawed. You're human. You're human. And you are surviving. I was about to. No, yeah. But yeah, you're surviving impossible systems. And please congratulate yourself, like celebrate yourself, right? We don't often hear that, but you're surviving, right? And as we hopefully work to create a world where we can thrive and not just survive, because that's not why we were put here, to just survive day to day. That's the conditions oppressors have created that we now live in. But that's not why we were put here. Yeah, just continue to remind yourself that you are doing amazing. You're doing amazing. And celebrate yourself. And actively do things that bring you joy. We know that like depression can kind of eliminate a lot of the joy out of life. So the moments that you do get to experience joy, take it. Take it. You deserve it. You deserve it. And know that you're not alone. And there are resources, again, linked in the description section, therapy resources for you, community healing on this channel and so many other people's channel in the chat. But yeah. Just want to end with that. You're not alone. And yeah, it's time to end the stigma because a lot of us are experiencing this. Yeah. Okay, y'all. Thank you. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect way to end. The beauty in all the madness is that we have each other. It's that we have each other. That's it. That's it. Hey, Phoenix Rising. Welcome. Welcome. Just about to end. But yes, yes. I will be ending this house sit in a couple days and then resting. Whew, because I'm tired. I guess we, yeah. It does feel like that, like really fun class sometimes. It's like, I guess we gotta go to the next one. But yeah. I appreciate y'all. Yeah. Until next time, y'all. Bye. Thank you so much for being here.